Spring has arrived. It's also a great time to do a spring cleaning of our Windows 10 computer. A good place to start would be by uninstalling applications that you don't use. You may even find some applications that you don't know how they ever got to your computer in the first place. This tip may seem obvious, but it's a good place to start. Many apps that you install add startup programs or background system services that make your PC take longer to boot and that use resources in the background. Some programs clutter File Explorer's content menus with options. Others, especially PC games, can just use a lot of disk space. That's fine if you use these applications and find them beneficial, but it's easy to install a large number of applications and find yourself not using them at all. To clean things up, uninstall the applications that you don't use. On Windows 10, you can head to Settings, Apps, and Features to see a list of applications that you can uninstall. You can also access the traditional uninstall or change a program pane in the classic control panel. Yes, Windows 10 still has the control panel. Once you remove those programs and apps, the next logical place is to remove browser extensions that you don't need and probably never use after installing them. Browser extensions are similar to apps, and it's easy to install a bunch and find yourself not using them. However, browser extensions can slow down your web browsing, and most of them have access to everything you do in your browser. That makes them a security and a privacy concern, especially if they're created by a company or individual you don't trust. Go through your web browser's installed extensions and remove ones that you don't use or trust in Google Chrome or any other browser you may be using. In Chrome, for example, click Menu, More Tools, Extensions to find them. In Mozilla Firefox, click Menu, Add-ons. In Microsoft Edge, click Menu, Extensions. Once you get to them, you can get rid of them. Just select Remove. Many of the programs and apps that you've installed like to start when your system starts. So tweak your startup program. We recommend uninstalling programs that you don't need and that you aren't using. To find the startup program controls on Windows 10, right-click your taskbar in a blank spot and select Task Manager. Or you can use the shortcut keys Control, Shift, and Escape. Click the Startup tab, and if you don't see it, click More Details first. You can also find a similar tool at Settings, Apps, Startup. Disable any programs that you don't want running at boot time. Many of them will not be necessary. Bear in mind that this may impact functionality. For example, if you choose not to run Microsoft OneDrive or Dropbox at boot, then they won't launch and synchronize your files automatically. You will have to open them after the computer's startup process is completed for that to happen. The more things you have running when the system starts, the slower the boot time and the more resources are being used. So choose those programs that start at boot wisely. Organize your desktop and files. Spring cleaning isn't just about making your PC run faster. It's also about making you faster at using it. Cleaning up your messy desktop is a big part of that. And if you don't want to clean up your desktop, consider just hiding your desktop icons, which you can do easily by right-clicking your desktop and unchecking View Show Desktop Icons. Beyond that, consider opening File Explorer and organizing your personal files and folders. There's a good chance that your download folder in particular needs a cleanup, or just some quick delete of old downloads that you no longer need. Whichever folder you use frequently, consider pinning them to the quick access sidebar in File Explorer for easier access to your stuff. Clean up your taskbar and start menu. While you're at it, consider pruning or reorganizing your taskbar icons. If your taskbar is full of icons for applications that you don't need, unpin them by right-clicking them and selecting Unpin from the taskbar. Rearrange them with drag and drop to reposition them wherever you like on the taskbar. Look at customizing your start menu too. Windows 10's default start menu is packed with shortcut tiles that you probably don't even use. If you've never customized it, now's a good time to ensure that only the programs you use are pinned to its tiles area. Tidy up your browser and its bookmarks. You probably spend a lot of time in your computer's web browser. If you use its bookmark feature, consider taking some time to reorganize your bookmarks in a way that makes sense. It's easiest to do this from your browser's bookmarks manager, rather than fiddling with the bookmarks toolbar. In Google Chrome, click Menu, Bookmarks, Bookmark Manager to launch it. Consider backing up your bookmark before continuing, in case you want them again in the future. Run disk cleanup to free up space. If you want to clean up some temporary files and free up some disk space, try using the disk cleanup tool built into Windows. On Windows 10, open the Start menu, search for Disk Cleanup using the search box, and click Disk Cleanup to launch it. Click the Cleanup System Files button to ensure that you're cleaning up both your Windows user accounts files and system-wide files. Depending on how long it's been since you last ran this tool, you may be able to free up gigabytes of unnecessary files. For example, files related to old Windows updates. Look carefully through the list of things that Disk Cleanup plans to delete to ensure that the tool doesn't delete anything that you want to keep. Dust out your PC. If you have a desktop PC, you should be opening it regularly and giving it a quick dust. Be sure to turn the PC off first. Dusting your laptop may also be necessary. Dust often builds up in your PC's fan and in other components, reducing their cooling effectiveness. As a result, your PC may run hotter, or at least the fan will have to work harder to provide the same amount of cooling. While you don't have to go crazy in thoroughly cleaning every part of your PC, we do recommend powering off your PC and cleaning it with compressed air. Never use a vacuum for this. You should also clean your dirty keyboard, monitor, and more. Dust on the inside of the PC can affect performance and cooling, but there's probably dust elsewhere too. On the screen, on your computer's motherboard, in between the keys on your keyboard, and more. Spring cleaning is a great time to do a nice deep clean. To clean your monitor, all you need is a standard microfiber cloth, the same kind you'd use to wipe a pair of eyeglasses. To deep clean your keyboard, you can generally remove the keys and use compressed air or a vacuum to clean out the accumulated debris. You might also just turn the keyboard upside down if it's not part of the laptop. Sometimes lots of stuff comes out of it you didn't even know was in that keyboard.